I see our friend and a wonderful, wonderful client and supporter, Moira. Moira is also in Barcelona, and Alvaro. Oh, I see people who are with us from the very early spring when we launched really in the post COVID turbulence, the program of online meetings. We did it because we wanted to be close to you. And then we discovered that it works many different ways. I know that some of you have connected and that you developed some friendships, some partnerships. And it's really about expanding our network, and it's really about building trust. And today we will be speaking how to do it using such a widely spread platform as LinkedIn. So I think that we're still waiting for a couple of people, and Evelina is letting them in. And, you know, why don't you, whoever is first, introduce yourself, just saying a name, and, you know, you can say a little thing that we remember you, and maybe some people want to connect. You will be speaking a lot about a purpose today. So you can say, my name is Daria, and I care about empowering people through strategic networks. Who wants to take over? We use the Spanish style. So, you know, Spanish style means that if you do not interrupt other people, it means that you're not listening. And I had to learn it when I moved to Barcelona. And I must say that I loved it very much. So Spanish style, whoever is first, please unmute your microphone and just speak up, and do not worry to interrupt others.
Okay, well, my name is Alvaro. I'm from Les Corts, a little neighborhood from Barcelona. And I need to improve my LinkedIn profile. This is why I'm here. Thank
Perfect.
you, Daria.
I'm Kimberly Cornfield. I'm Canadian, living in London, and my purpose and passion is about innovating the way we organizations collaborate to tackle global challenges.
Go ahead. You have a moment where you can really make you know, take a chance to say who you are and what you care for.
Hi, I'm Ivana from Zagreb, University of Zagreb. I work in Center for Research Development and Technology Transfer in the University of Zagreb, and I'm a senior advisor for promotion in my center. Hi.
Hi, I am
Hello.
Aldo. I am from Palermo, Italy, in Sicily, and I need to know how LinkedIn work to improve my profile.
Hi everyone, I'm Divya. I'm from India, but currently I'm in Barcelona. What I really care about is using building my network with the aim to focus on open innovation. So technically for brainstorming ideas to solve a very specific problem of a customer. And that is something that I have been developing upon, how to use networking to achieve that goal. And that is something that I do care about improving as well. Thank you.
Hi, I am, sorry. I will start because I'm Spanish, so I can interrupt better than the others. I am Esther from Badalona. I think I'm not the only one from Badalona. And I want to know how to engage civil engineering students to become more entrepreneur and more active, creating some network thinking with other type of students or other engineerings, and to be more independent.
Thank you, Esther.
I am Xavier from Barcelona, from Sant Cugat, besides Barcelona. I work for the Catalan government. I am responsible for research and innovation. I coordinate the research and innovation of the Ministry of Territory and Sustainability, and I am very thrilled to know much more about this intelligence based on networking. So how to apply this to our research and innovation strategies. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Judith Tesser. I'm from Eindhoven, the Netherlands. And I just had a training by Daria, what I very much appreciated. And our challenge is from the Eindhoven engine to unleash our collective intelligence in order to accelerate innovation. So help us.
Wonderful, wonderful, Judith.
Hello, my name is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Sofia. I'm from Portugal, and I've started working for corporation, and I need to understand better how to make LinkedIn more corporate. I already know how to work it for brands and in a more commercial way. Now I need to understand how to make it more institutional, and that's why I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Héctor Álvarez from Madrid. I work in Indra. And I'm happy to join this session. I'm pretty much interested in improving my networking skills and tools.
Welcome, Hector.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, my name is Magda and I'm from Gdańsk in Poland. And I'm working Medical University of Gdańsk. And I want to develop the network using LinkedIn. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Neringa. I'm from Kaunas City, from Kaunas University of Technology, Lithuania. And I'm here to improve my skills, how to build this network using LinkedIn.
Okay, so I think that people who introduce themselves, what I see is some are interested to benefit from this webinar for themselves, others for their students or clients, others for their institutions. So why don't we jump right into the questions that you wanted to ask? Just at the end of the webinar, I will try to keep 10 minutes or more for questions. If you allow me, please look at the down of your screen. You have a chat box over there. Do you see it? Perfect. So if you could write down the questions that come to your mind during the webinar, and at the end, I will be taking them one by one, and Evelina will be helping me in case I overlook some of the important questions. So what I will do now, I will share my screen. Okay, I hope that you can see, and I'm putting the full visibility mode. So just to put things in context, we started the webinar before summer, and then after summer, we decided to continue. So today, we will be going through the competences of digital leaders, the 7 competences that we identified that leaders need to use for innovating. And you know that the purpose of innovating is to bring impact. This can be defined through the profit if you're working for as a company, but more and more even companies define the impact that they innovate, not only to bring the return to shareholders, but also to bring societal impact. There is this triple bottom line thinking, and this becomes more and more prominent in many corporations. By default, universities are to build leadership skills of their students and engage the researchers in bringing more societal impact. So we identify the skills and the webinars
Daria?
that we will be going through. Yes?
Daria, can I interrupt you?
Yes.
We don't see your presentation. It's a black screen for everyone.
Wow, good that you told me.
I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you.
No, very good. Very good. Let me then...
when you open, it's like we can see your screen when you don't share the screen. So maybe that can help somehow, you know?
Huh, this is really strange.
Before you press the play button, you do see it. After you press it, it goes away.
Oh, okay. So if this is the case, then let me do a little bit of trick, and maybe not share my whole screen, How does this look now?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, perfect. So just to put things in context, we prepared the series of 8 webinars. Today is the webinar focused on network strategy. And because our last webinar in October, which was just a general introduction to network thinking, the feedback was that you want to something practical. So we decided, why not to use the network strategy concept on such a digital ecosystem as LinkedIn. Now, can you see my screen now? Can you see my second slide?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Perfect. So we managed this. So today, very briefly, we will talk about the network strategy for LinkedIn. And I want to start by saying that we will talk about your challenge in the post-corona times, the concept that we're building the strategy on, that is purpose network fit, then why to use LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn, and then a quick self-audit. So first, my question to you, what would you like to know about LinkedIn? If you were to ask me specific questions, we have 2 minutes to ask specific, 3 minutes to ask specific questions. I already heard that you would like to learn how to develop your profile. This was very clear. I also heard that you want to see how you can teach or inspire, empower people you work with, students or clients. What other questions would you like to ask? Very concrete questions.
There is a question, for example, do you recommend Sales Navigator? In the chat.
What other questions do we have, Evelina? Maybe you can read the chat.
What
That's
kind
the
of...
only one. Sophia?
Okay, I can write it. Yeah, sorry. What kind of articles should we publish? So what appeals more to the public in LinkedIn that doesn't appeal in other networks?
Okay. Last one question. Okay.
Shall we accept invitations, for example, all invitations?
Okay. Okay, so I get a feel of what kind of questions you want to have answered. And let me go then find a good slot in the presentation to address them. But let me start that we are in a very special moment, and I believe that every single person feels it in a different dimension. But I wonder to what extent this network thinking can be used to you these days, especially as in every transition, there is a moment of challenge and the moment of opportunity. What you see on the left is really how we should think about today's world, about solving challenges together, and the fact that we all work in silos, and that if we only had people who were able to connect the silos of research, innovation, education, entrepreneurship, and who could work together to aspire for the next generation to bring the success stories that we could solve some challenges, the world would be very different. We would probably be suffering less from a digital fatigue. So many of us struggle how to work in harmony and stay aligned. And we would also probably be better equipped to solve innovators' dilemma, which basically is about, do I disrupt? Do I use the creative disruption, the creative distraction to move things forward? How do I innovate together? Now, we are always starting that our niche, our approach on the topic that we are focusing is through networking for innovation. I truly believe that to create a better world, a better future for you, for your children, for anyone, is to innovate. We have no chance. This world as we know it is unsustainable. And you probably know a very fantastic framework by Simon Sinek who says, start with the why. So many people do not understand what is their purpose. They find it hard to explain what is their values. It's hard to explain what area they want to impact. Now, we say, start with the who. And this is because when we did the research last year and when we're continuing to do research today, we realize that 40% people have hard time to change their mindset, that 40% people cannot really learn new skills, that 55% of people are not connected to the ecosystem or even to their closest team that they work together, and that only 17% of people share knowledge and skills. So It's really the question, if you want to innovate through building relations with your closest team and through the ecosystem, is the question of who is the right person, who's open to change the mindset, who's open to learn, who's connected, and who wants to share. Now, this is important because LinkedIn is just one of very many platforms or networks that we're a member of. So the way to think about LinkedIn, when I enter on LinkedIn, I always keep myself a little bit anxious because what I see is an endless flow of data. Every time I see people being successful, every time I see people being smiling, happy that they achieved something. And you know, this builds my anxiety because I feel, am I able to be on top of this? Am I able to stay connected with my ecosystem? And then I try to rationalize this attitude saying, hey, Daria, the network intelligence is out there. But if you're not smart, if your network IQ is not high enough, you will do nothing with all this amazing knowledge and potential that is out there available for me. Because today, really, it's not the question of inability to reach out to people on LinkedIn or anywhere else. It's really the question of knowing who are the right people to engage with. So my way, our way of thinking about it is, number one, start with a purpose and start with answering the question, what area you want to impact, with whom you want to do it, for whom this area and the change, the transformation of this area is important, and how will success look for us? Now, mind the difference, not for me, how the success will look for us, for this community that shares the purpose. And then when this is clear, and I tend to remind myself quite often not to get distracted into many different avenues that I could follow on LinkedIn. And my way to staying focused on a shared purpose is to giving likes and endorsing messages that are only related to what I care about. Today, my core activity is building a company, and our mission is to empower leaders through building networks for innovation. So any topic, any person, even a competitor, even a potential collaborator, or just a person who searches for a purpose and wants to change the future, I consciously streamline my feed by engaging with these people, by giving them likes, by giving very simple comments. But I tend to avoid the post which I do not want to share on my stream, on my feed. Now, the second group of my, let's say, typical behavior when I go on LinkedIn is to focusing on people I know well, on my collaborators. I call them an E-team or a distributed team. Now, traditionally, when we were speaking about a team, we had a vision that a team basically works in one room. Then we realized that the team may also work virtually across different departments, across different locations. But what we see now is a massive shift to a concept of a team that really includes many different collaborators. And sometimes your clients become members of your team if they work with you crowdsourcing ideas or helping you develop products. So I keep all these people as my team, as my close, trusted collaborators, and I consciously engage with them. I search for their post, I visit their accounts. I'm just getting curious to go out there and see, hey, what they're up to. And then the third category of my behavior, it's say, if I still have time, is to focus on the ecosystem, on business, technology, and society that is relevant for my purpose. So I tend to go to communities that somehow I see transformative. Sometimes these are communities that care for sustainability and climate impact. Sometimes these are communities that care for inclusion, all different types of purpose. But I am definitely thinking about my purpose when I enter the crazy network on LinkedIn. I'm saying crazy because it's absolutely unimaginable how much data is out there. So if I were to give you the starting advice, when you go on LinkedIn, don't get discouraged, don't get anxious, just keep the focus on what area you want to impact, who are the people who are your closest collaborators in the extended virtual team, and then which is the ecosystem that can be nurturing for you to achieve this purpose. Now, we work on a very simple framework of a purpose network fit. You know, with the Pareto rule that you probably know well, 20% of people in your network will bring 80% of results. So it's really the question, out of all people I know, who are the 20% people who will be really good for me at this moment in my career, in my journey, in my project. And basically, the way we do it and the way you could do it is simply by listing all the communities that you're a member of. It can be alumni associations, it can be professional bodies, it can be former employers and colleagues, it can be sport club, or it can be a neighborhood association of people who want to change one part of their city. And then you will realize that there are people who are connected in these different communities. But then it may turn out that even if these people are connected, are part of the community, so there's a different level of centeredness in your network, well, what you will realize that they may not care about a specific purpose that you want to engage with. So the question is to understand what is the critical mass of people in which community that also cares about what is important for you at this moment in your professional career. It's a very simple model, but extremely powerful if you're doing it in a team, because suddenly if everyone is mapping the network, the communities that you're part of, you realize that you work in silos, that you do not know the people who are working with you. And then you realize that actually just understanding your social system that you're a member of, you become much more collaborative, open, and you're starting to learn. Now, this is the moment where I should say, so number one, it's pretty hard to understand what is our professional purpose. It's even more challenging to define the purpose of our team or an organization. But then yet another moment is to how to communicate it. And we manifest this through having a very clear digital identity and brand. And I distinguish the identity from the brand because, you know, think of a brand as a package. You know, you can put a book in a different cover, but it will be the same book, right? Just in a different cover. And depending on a number of modalities, you want to dress up in a different way when you're building your profile. And it was good that you asked, many of you asked about building a digital profile. But I want to say that a brand is something that you change easily, but an identity is something that it's much more hard to change because it comes from, it's defined by the communities that you're engaged with, whether consciously or not consciously. Really, your identity builds on the social relations of people whom you trust and who trust you. And of course, this is all underwritten by values, can be outspoken or can be unconscious, but this is how we've been coining, how we've been coming to the identity as who we are. Now, the trick is that with the digital world, we do not tend to have one identity. We have a portfolio of identities. And whether you're on LinkedIn or on Facebook or working in a virtual team or on a WhatsApp group, you probably most likely have a different identity. In a way, you are a bit a different self, if you wish. And I would say that it's important to keep it in mind when you're building your LinkedIn profile, that it must be authentic, I believe. It must be defined through the different types of, I will use again this word, different types of LinkedIn communities that you showcase that you're part of. So let me just give you some concrete hints. What I always do, or what I always advise people with whom we work to do, is to show that they are competent professionals, but that they are also a good persons. I advise them always to describe not what company that they work for, but what is the area that they want to impact? Because you can change the company, or you can use the same value driver, the same area, working for many different organizations. And then I advise who is relevant for their success and how success will look like for them. I quite often benchmark the profiles through a peer group, just to see what is the slang, if you wish, what are the tags and hashtags used. And I'm very often advising to select information. Sometimes people ask me, hey, I have this wonderful portfolio career. I'm doing this, working for that company, and being a chair of another organization. And still I'm active in yet another association. And I say, hey, wait, stop for a moment. LinkedIn is not a place where you need to put all your data. You need to be selective, because you can change it later. But let's be clear, what information is key for people who will be answering the question, are you the right person for them? Do you know how to share? Do you have an open mindset? Can you learn? This is really what we are working with leaders in many different countries, in many different areas of economy and society. It's really tweaking the question. While every person asks the same question, who's the right person? We ask, for whom are you the right person? So let me quickly walk you through 3 profiles. Of course, the first profile will be my profile. How do I communicate my purpose on LinkedIn? Well, I do it through many different things, and you know well that an image and the first impression is worth more than many elaborate words that you put further out there. People go to your profile and there is something subconscious. They like you, your digital identity and digital brand, or not. They connect with you or not. So how do I communicate my purpose? First of all, I do want to say that I am influential and I care about a global agenda. This is why I have selected the picture in the background, which clearly shows that I have a voice and I am not scared to say out loud to the global community what I think about the future. My profile photo was recently changed. It was much more frivolous and smiling, but I decided to go back to my professional, very strict looking face, but straight into the eyes. I hope that you agree that this is a person who can be trusted, looking straight into the eyes with a very modest business-like setting. I use my title, academic title, PhD, because I want to emphasize that I have very concrete competence in a specific area. And then what I write underneath is that I'm a founder and CEO at Tataj Innovation, that I'm the World Economic Forum digital leader, and that I advise European Commission on people, planet, prosperity. So I have selected these 3 roles because what is really most close to my heart now is the success of our small entrepreneurial team. I think I am extremely proud to work with the people I have a privilege to work with, and I'm doing all I can to have us successful. I'm not showing off that I'm considered one of the key leaders on innovation networks in the world. I used to do it. I was very proud of being an author of books and many publications and being an inventor of the Network IQ Index. But today what I really care, this purpose I communicate to the people, I firstly communicate to my team. And when you go to LinkedIn, I advise you to keep in mind, there are millions of people out there, but the most important people that you communicate with, that you communicate your purpose, is your e-team, your virtual team of people you work with as colleagues, as clients, as consultants, as collaborators, as people who are just out there but do support you, they do want you to succeed. So keep it in mind when you build your LinkedIn profile. Now, I also show the World Economic Forum because this is a very powerful community. And when you will be constructing your LinkedIn profiles, you can also show that you're a member of a community. It can be local, can be small, can be linked to a sector or a cause, but it's important to show that you're a member of something bigger than you are, and maybe something bigger than your company, something that cares about a bigger agenda. And I talk that for me, the agenda is really people, planet, prosperity. And I do it on purpose. I use the terms which are simply saying, hey, I have children. I would love them to have a better future. And I do all I can to share my knowledge and my influence to transform how people think. Now, you also see the golden LinkedIn badge. I do use the profile, the paid premium account. I have not always done it, and there were moments when I was using it and then stopping to do it. I use it today because one of the most interesting features for me is that I can go and see who has visited my profile. And this gives me answer to a question, who's the right person for, and who am I the right person for, to take a moment and see who I am, what I do. And then also I see that sometimes when you have a premium profile, the algorithm tends to keep up your posts longer. But this is, I would say, a very tricky thing. For me, the key aspect is really to learn who is interested in my work. Now, what you will see to the left is a badge of my company, but then there is one of the university I worked with. Actually, this is a slot for education. I was a postdoc at the University of Michigan, but I decided to put this university, although I could put many others, because this is one of the top greatest universities in the world, actually one of the top 20 according to the Shanghai list. And there is a Go Blue community. So people may not know Michigan out there. They're not as famous as Harvard or Stanford, but people who are connected to Michigan, they know that Go Blue means that you keep together and you have values to transform the world for better. But let me now share a profile of a client with whom we've been working for many, many months now. And Martin is a professor, but he's also a serial entrepreneur, and he's a visionary thinker about the future of universities, the fourth generation universities, as he says. The way he describes himself, and he has this kind of complex career of being a researcher and an entrepreneur, he says, I'm a high-tech systems scientist, a serial tech entrepreneur and keynote speaker. I'm a scientific director of Eindhoven Engine and professor at Technical University of Eindhoven. And then to the right, he puts the Eindhoven Engine and Eindhoven as his alma mater. He uses the premium account. And what you will see in the background is a Tesla. On campus or in Eindhoven, he's known as the Tesla guy because he was one of the earliest adopters in the city to use this futuristic car. Now, what do I see when I look at his profile? I see a friendly face looking straight into the eyes. Sometimes people use a profile picture which is really tricky. First, you cannot recognize the person. It's not good. People should recognize you on your profile photo. Sometimes they show themselves in a bad light or not clearly visible. I think that having a good quality profile photo is part of your image, saying that you are professional. But you should smile in the photo. I love when people smile. It always builds the closest rapport. A smile is worth 1 billion words, I would say. And then in the background photo, he has an item that distinguishes him from other people. And you may remember in the old pictures, people had symbols. So every saint has a symbol. I'm not sure that we can any longer recognize which saint is which, just looking at the item, at the symbol that she or he holds. But surely it's good to have an emblem. And this emblem should be a value statement. In this case, it's about climate, it's about technology, it's about the combination of how an entrepreneurial, absolutely creative idea and dream can turn around, can build one of the top valued companies in the mobility industry in the world, and turn around all the incumbents. So it's absolutely the symbol of disruptive innovation. I really like how strongly this profile is presented. And I know we have Kimberly on the call. So Kimberly, I'm not, I hope you do not mind, I'm showcasing your profiles. We also worked for a number of months now, and I'm not sure you already communicated on LinkedIn your professional success, so I will not disclose it, but I'm super, super proud of you. Kim says, connecting science with business to tackle global healthcare and climate challenges. Expert in fundraising to support cross-sector European and global collaborations. What Kim does, she works for University College London in the partnerships department, responsible for bringing the top scientists from UCL with the industry, with government agencies, and build different collaborative projects that further can be funded through the European Union, through national funds, through private funds. So she's really a connector. She's an ecosystem builder. She's someone who's very trusted because she needs to translate the language of the, ivory tower academics to the very profit-driven and motivated and incentivized business people, and then to governments which need to understand why they should invest taxpayers' money into a project that does not have a defined return on investment. And then even if the results are reached, what will be the impact for citizens and how citizens will be engaged? We worked with Kim a lot to understand how to communicate this in a way that would be welcoming the big picture she has, and then down-to-earth job that makes her successful. So we identified this through the Sustainable Development Goals. You surely know the SDGs, the 17 SDGs, and we have selected 3 to focus on: health, good health and well-being, reduced inequalities, and partnerships for the goals. This is how she actually defines herself in a big picture role. And you can read that that her dream, that her vision is beyond her job, beyond her institution. It's really at the global level. So she thinks of herself as a leader at the global level as a change maker and someone who's able to bring different types of creative people to work together. Now, if you went to our LinkedIn, the company LinkedIn profile, we did 2 posts, and I want to thank Marcello for being the author of the post. These posts are based on the micro coaching course that we developed together with our clients when we were trying to help them get fast up to speed how to master LinkedIn. And let me just walk you through 4 insights into what you could find in the course, but you can look for more insights on our company profile in the 2 posts. So number 1 is unexpected connections. Never underestimate the power of new unexpected connections. A person who visits your profile can be a beggar who will turn out, like in the fairy tale, a prince later, or can be a frog that will turn out to be a princess, if I may joke. So be open. Don't judge how people look, because we tend to make a judgment in the very first seconds of seeing someone, and the same applies on LinkedIn. And people may not have time, knowledge, opportunity to improve their digital identity and brand. So whoever visits your profile, whoever gives you a like or engages under your post, giving a comment, welcome this. Always think that there is something unexpected that can happen later if you get to know each other better. Number 2, work to clearly define your purpose before growing your network. There is a huge power of a purpose network fit. And this having a clarity of why you're expanding your network can be much more worth than any big ego well-being and well-being feeling that you have one more connection. I had a mindset moment when building my LinkedIn network. I wanted to connect many different communities, and I love connecting with people, so I'm present in many different communities. And then when I started to connecting with different people, I started to engaging with them, so I started to be followed by more and more people. And at a certain moment, my network reached 21,000 followers, which is a big network. It's already a very influential network, especially as over 70% of my followers have a C-level experience, corporate experience. So I wrote a post saying, hey, I'm so proud. I have the 21,000 follower on Twitter. And the person wrote me a private message. Daria, I am not a number. I'm a person. And this was really like a cold shower for me. This made me think that I am, feeling well when I think that I'm popular and being listened to. But this really made me become more humble. And I recommend that you also think in terms of that sometimes out there at the peripheries of the world, at the peripheries of your network, there can be a person who can be extremely valuable, but more important, for whom you can be more valuable. You can be the right person. So be clear about communicating your purpose through the profile, this couple first seconds. Now, number 3 is build your digital brand identity. Don't tell me that a package does not sell a product. And I hate to say that you are a product on LinkedIn because it's a huge job fair, or that you're a product because people are looking for partners, for funding, for clients. But in a way, you are. We can think big, we can think long-term, we can think purpose, but also we should think tactics, short-term. How can I be more successful here and now? What is my immediate benefit? And then really the way I advise is use the right tags and hashtags when you're posting, because this helps you be found and helps you find the people that you want to reach out now and here. The way I do it is by stirring discussions. So I can make a short introduction about a problem that bothers me now, and I ask an open question, and then I would tag 2-3 people, sometimes 5, but not many, as if on the one hand, introducing them to each other on this very topic. They often do not know each other, and then reaching out to them as experts. So this immediately builds the rapport, builds my status in the network, but also makes them more influential and connects them, makes the connection. Now, number 4 insight is about keeping in mind the first impression. So please use a professional photo if you have. Today, you can take a professional photo with an iPhone. You do not need to go to a big photographer, but be mindful that having a high quality, friendly, smiling photo that you can be recognized for is the first investment you should do. Number 2, revise your background image. Think if it reflects the area that you want to impact, if it somehow relates to the values that you support and to the communities that you want to be part of. Sometimes people use simply the logo of the company, and this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Other people just think bigger and broader. This is fine too, because today you have one photo, tomorrow you can have a different photo, because your purpose can change. It's just good to be clear about why are you working hard today and why you invest your time on LinkedIn instead of other places. Then a title and a bio is to serve your professional brand. And I encourage you to do simple things. Put your alma mater, put the university that you graduated from in your profile, because people do care if you're coming from the same alumni family. I had a conversation with my colleague from Princeton, who's the director of the Entrepreneurship Center at the engineering school yesterday. And I asked her a question. So, you know, how do you keep connected in these COVID times? And she said, we actually do not have a problem with it because at Princeton, 65% of alumni give back to the university. And I thought, this is powerful. This is powerful. So just put a name of a university that you graduated from and be proud of it. Put a brand of your employer or the company, the organization that you want to be associated with. And do not overload your short bio with too many information. Just be clear about who is your closest team today that you're responsible for and who supports you. And then what is one or two communities that you want to become successful with in the short term. So this is the end of my presentation for today, and I will stop sharing my screen, and I will give the voice to you and to Evelina, who can maybe help me select the questions if there are any.
Yeah, I think we can start with questions we already have. So
okay.
The first one was, do you recommend Sales Navigator?
Now, Sales Navigator is a great tool if you're using LinkedIn really to generate leads and change leads for clients. Honestly, I tried it. It did not work for me very well because we are a small company. And for us, it was challenging to integrate the Sales Navigator with other tools, especially the CRM. But if you are dedicated to grow your sales, definitely yes. And if you do use Sales Navigator, I would recommend other applications, especially the Dutch Soup, which is a Dutch application, which basically is like a background robot allowing you to optimize your time. So it always depends on the purpose, on the tactics, not on the big purpose, on the short-term goal that you want to achieve investing your time on LinkedIn. Evelina, will you help me? And Phantom Booster, someone said. Yeah, absolutely. There are many applications. I don't want to endorse any of them specifically. And you are very welcome to share the applications on the chat that you yourself have tested or used to optimize your LinkedIn activity and impact. Okay, so I will be... What is the next question? I'm opening the chat.
Shall we accept all invitations, Daria?
No. No, I recommend that you do not. Now, what is my key for accepting invitations? Okay, there are two types of invitations. People write you a message or they don't write you a message, right? So if people write me a message, I am more likely to accept, even if there are very low connectivity to my communities and networks. This can be very easily checked how strongly they are embedded in your system. So when you think about this network purpose network fit, right? The purpose, the team, and the ecosystem. So when you think that ecosystem quite often is very localized. So we are digital, but we are also very human, and we must live somewhere. And we must, graduate from a school somewhere, most likely. So basically, it's easy to check how this person is connected. If you're looking not only how many connections you share, but for example, if I want to dig deeper, I'm looking where this person is located, and I have a judgment because I know in which ecosystems I have my own map that is pretty easy to do, and we work with clients helping them map the key co-locations, if you wish, in the world where the LinkedIn network overlaps with physical. It's usually cities that for some reason they have a reason to be closely connected with. So my judgment is if the message is nice, and then there is a sufficient level of already connectivity in this giving ecosystem, physical, I think, yes, I accept, even if I do not know a person. I do it because if I were at a conference, I would give a business card to a nice person who comes up to me and says, hey, can I introduce myself? I think we share some areas. Why don't we connect? Why not? I am open. But there are different strategies. There are people who are extremely selective in building their networks. I do not think that this is such a right approach. If you do not want people to abuse whom you know, you can change your privacy settings so that people cannot say, hey, we're connected to this person and he or she is very influential. So why don't we do this or that? So if you go to the privacy settings, you can protect your network connections if you wish, and then be more open than not when accepting invites. When I see a cold invite, just a click away, so someone didn't really spend much time to invite me, I think double if to accept this person. And then I have a set of criteria that I may accept. So one thing is awful, but basically if this person is an influencer, meaning has a very large network, I accept. Why? Because in the world of networks, it's very important to have multipliers who can reach out just with one reshare of your post or one comment to a very broad network. So this would be one criteria. The second criteria is if people are somehow connected to my area of expertise. I know which institutions, for example, are very respected in my area. And then I tend to accept people where I already work with or whom I expect that they know my work from their colleagues. Sometimes, one more addendum. If there is a very young person who asks to connect with me and this person sends a message and says, I'm a student, I'm about to graduate, I always accept, because I believe that through this little thing, this little gesture, I empower someone out there to think that he or she can reach out to me sending a direct message saying, hey, Daria, I have this idea. What do you think? Any other questions?
Yes, of course, there's a long list, quite a long list, I must say. The next one would be, how do you sell on LinkedIn in a way that works?
Okay, I think my colleague here, Marcello, is a bigger expert than I am in selling on LinkedIn because, honestly, I did not think about using LinkedIn as a sales platform. And I did not do it because I thought rather that it's a platform where you're having a voice in a discussion to transform the way people around you think. Now, this strategy builds your status. People say that I am influential, although I do not think of myself as influential. Does it mean that our company will be more successful because the founder is influential? Not necessarily. So I do not want to say that I'm an expert on sales on LinkedIn. I think that there are many experts, and if you look for digital marketing and sales on LinkedIn, you will have a lot of people out there. My personal attitude to LinkedIn is more about influencing and impacting the ecosystem than using sales. But I think that probably I have some skill shortages and I should learn this aspect of using LinkedIn. And this is why I follow and learn from Marcello. Any other question?
Yeah, I'm not sure, Nikila, if we answered your question because you asked, how do I identify relevant profile for networking? So I think you spoke, Daria, about it.
But I can comment more. Comment more. So a very simple thing is to using specific hashtags. If you have an event, quite often they have a specific hashtag. Can be a conference hashtag, can be a debate, so a kind of issue that is trending right now. And if you search LinkedIn using this hashtag, you will find out people who are using the same hashtag. And this would be the first easiest way to reach out to the right persons who care about the same impact that you do, who may want to connect with you, and whom you may want to connect with. So number one advice is simply use specific hashtags. Number two advice is go to the profiles of people you highly respect and who do not have a large network, meaning that they have probably how to say, an average network, meaning that they still use LinkedIn. Because if you have a very small network, it means that you're not really active, or that you're so selective that you're a very closed person and will be hard to share and learn from you. So, but then if you go to this trusted profile, a person that you trust in real world, most likely this person will not know or will not want to protect the profile by setting this privacy settings not to see the second connections. So my advice be, yeah, do some intelligence who this person knows as the first connection, and consider if this would not be a good person in your network too. And quite often you discover that you know, or you met for even a brief moment, many people who are in this second connections. So it's a very simple thing. Just connect with them, sending a short message. Hello, we met here and there. Any other questions?
Thank you, Daria.
We
I
have
think
just
two
a few
next
minutes
ones, yeah, are very related to what you said. How to achieve an outreach for our post, how to get many views. So this is, I think, very much related to what you just said about hashtags and
but let me comment on this as well.
Right.
Algorithms play dirty tricks. I must tell you that sometimes we are thinking why a certain post was seen by thousands of people and why a post posted, a bit later on a similar topic was seen by a couple of hundred people. And I think that here artificial intelligence knows better and is more influential than any human strategies. But we can engineering this a little bit. And my way would be to tag people who I know that can be interested in the topic and can possibly share or comment the post, which will make the post live longer, which means many more people will see it. And then if they have extensive large networks, this can increase the visibility. The second thing I do, I send a direct message to certain people with a kind request what they think if they could comment under my post, and there's nothing wrong with it. It requires a strategic use of network strategy for LinkedIn, because you already need to have clarity. What is the area you want to impact? Which are the key communities? How success will look like, for whom you are the right person and who's the right person for you. If you have these questions, it will be pretty easy to think about, sometimes a handful of people that you want to reach out. And do not be, do not think that you're spamming people. Evelina is really good at telling me, Daria, don't be, so reaching out and asking people for this or that. Listen, if you don't ask, you don't get. And the worst thing that you can get if you ask is that someone will tell you, I'm not interested. And you just say, sure, not a problem. But much worse is that when is the silence? So this is why I encourage you to answer any direct message that you get sooner or later. Even if you're not interested, answer in a kind way. Hey, I'm not interested for the moment, but let's keep connected. Because after all, there are millions of people out there, and maybe one person who just asked you for something, maybe a beggar, who will turn out to be a prince, or a frog who will turn out to be a princess. So I believe that we're coming to the end of this webinar, and all the people who have registered and could not join us, and people who join us, we will be sending the video recording. And if you can bookmark your calendars for the November webinar, we will be speaking about networking for innovation, very specific. And some of you who know me for a long time know that I was engaged in one of the most daring policy experiments in Europe, setting up the new network innovation model, the knowledge innovation communities of the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. And I will be partly speaking about this. So don't think that networking is just about exchanging business cards. I thank you very, very much. I send my love and friendship to all the people out there. And hey, write to us, write to me on LinkedIn. Have a good evening, wherever you are.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
Daria.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Wonderful to
Daria.
see
That
so
was
many
helpful and
friendly-
influential.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, Shiva. Wonderful to see old friends and colleagues. Great
Thank
that you
you.
could make it.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet you.
much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.